The new horseshoe in the banks of the Brazos. Blacked out tonight as the unbeaten Baylor Bears collide with Oklahoma. Energize McLean Stadium. Two playoff contenders with two options: victory or virtual elimination. Buckle up for a wild one in Waco tonight. We expect high tempo, high scoring, and of course, high stakes. Chris Fowler, Kirk Herbstreit, you ready, partner? Catch your breath. This is going to be blasting off the starting line in about 13 minutes from now. High stakes because Baylor sitting number 6 in the selection committee rankings. They feel a little disrespected, misunderstood by the committee. The schedule so far has been pretty weak, but the stretch run is very, very demanding. And Art Briles believes if they win out, they are in. But Oklahoma thinks they're in the hunt too if they win out.
Yeah, Oklahoma is a team that's looking at redemption probably more than anything else, especially against Baylor. I don't think they're worried necessarily at this point about their resume, but you're right about Baylor. I think Baylor's a team that was frustrated a year ago with the committee, and now they're looking at their season and everything is in front of them. They feel if they can win out, they're going to have a very strong case. But tonight is that first real big hurdle against Bob Stoops and the Sooners.
Stoops calls Art Briles a genius. He used that word describing the offense. The Bears play faster than anybody, score more than anybody, gain more yards than anybody, and they are surrounded by playmakers.
And I think they stress you as a defense more than anybody, and it's because it starts really with their formations. And we'll talk throughout the broadcast how they do that, but they'll stretch you from sideline to sideline literally, and they make you basically make a choice on what you want to try to stop. They're very confident in Shock Linwood as an offense. They're going over 300 yards a game on the ground, and if you get too concerned about what they can do in their running game, they're going to find one-on-one matchups and look for Coleman on the outside to try to create favorable matchups. This is an offense you've heard Bob and Mike Stoops talk about all week. It's all about stopping one-on-one matchups. Now, Jarrett Stidham is a true freshman. He's going to make his second start. He looked great in his first one against Kansas State and Manhattan. Different deal tonight athletically against this Oklahoma defense.
Just turned 19, but he is very confident. They have full belief in him. Oklahoma dominated Baylor for 2 decades, but they've lost 3 out of the last 4. The last 2 have been really embarrassing, and you use the perfect word, stressful. That's how they feel on the defensive side dealing with these Bears.
Yeah, and I think what's interesting with Mike Stoops as a defensive coordinator and with Bob as the head coach, every change that they've tried to make is about tonight, defending this offense. And it's because of the last couple years. They've given up 41 and then last year 48 where they couldn't stop them from throwing the football. They feel that they're better in the perimeter. They feel that their secondary matches up much more favorably because of the athletic ability that they have on the edge. And you're going to be seeing it. Can this secondary, led by Zach Sanchez, right there, number 15 in the middle, who's missed the last couple games with an ankle, can they hold up against Corey Coleman and the Bears' fleet-footed receivers?
They better save their energy. They're jumping around, but it takes a lot physically and mentally to face this offense. The Bears make their entrance with the fog and the flames and the fireworks. Certainly the potential for another playoff chase shaping game tonight. Bob Stoops in his 17th year used to own the Baylor Bears, but not in recent years. He's with Heather Cox.
Chris, thanks so much. Coach Stoops, with so much writing on this game, how have you helped your players understand what's at stake, yet still play like they have nothing to lose?
Well, they just have to play within themselves. We practiced hard, do what we do. We don't need anything other than what we're capable of, but they're excited about it. Hopefully we can play well.
Coach, from point production to scheme to tempo, Baylor does present some challenges. What's the key defensively to stopping their attack?
You got to be great against the run game, and then you got to challenge them and make plays downfield.
Let's get to it. Thanks, Coach. Chris?
Sooners underdogs for the first time in the last 22 games. Art Briles, meanwhile, still feels like they owe Oklahoma a lot of payback for those years. And Briles never lost in this stadium. They're 10-0 McLean Stadium, and they have a long home winning streak as well, 20 in a row going back to October of 2012. Kirk, for so long, this was Oklahoma romping, and then Baylor began to turn it. That 2011 Robert Griffin touchdown pass here. And they've won 3 out of the last 4. We said the last 2 have been lopsided.
They have been completely lopsided. Oklahoma does not forget about that, and Baylor wants to remind them again. So there's a lot on the table here for both of these teams.
Spencer Evans to boot it away for the Bears. And it will bounce into the end zone. So Baker Mayfield, the junior from just down the road in Austin, who beat out Trevor Knight for this starting job because he's been taking care of the football. You recall at Texas Tech, he was a good freshman, didn't get an offer, sat out here a year ago, Kirk, and he's been very sharp so far.
Well, he has provided energy to this offense. They've got a new offensive coordinator. Lincoln Riley comes over from East Carolina. This was the side of the ball. As much as we want to talk about how does Oklahoma stop Baylor, Bob Stoops made some adjustments on this side of the ball, and Baker Mayfield is the straw that mixes the drink. You know about the running game with Samaje Perine? Tonight, they've got to make some big plays in a passing game with Mayfield and his receivers.
There's Big Perine, a 230-pounder, approaching 1,000 rushing yards this season. He's got it in the first take. And muscles for about 4. Kirk, let's check out the Chick-fil-A impact players.
Well, Oklahoma has a lot of playmakers. They're going to go tempo here, just like Baylor will. Perine in the backfield along with Joe Mixon. Sterling Shepard, number 3. If they get him isolated one-on-one, he's got to make big plays. You'll see Sean Oakman, number 2, getting pressure. And big Andrew Billings in the middle has got to hold up against Perine in the Sooners' run game.
2nd and 7. Mayfield escapes, but goes down. A sack on the blitz. Andrew Billings combining with Sean Oakman.
They get pressure off to the right, and this is a matchup you're going to see Baylor hope to be able to exploit. That is a true freshman going up against Jamal Palmer, a senior. Drew Samia, who has moved into this starting lineup after the Texas game. He's done well, but remember, a true freshman in this atmosphere on the edge of that offensive line against a senior, that's a tough challenge.
Joe Mixon, the very quick freshman back to the right of Mayfield on 3rd and 12. Bears show pressure again and bring it. Screen. Westbrook trying to escape, breaks a couple tackles, very near the line to make. They'll spot him, I believe, just short. Good effort, but it's 4th down.
Well, you're going to see a lot of pressure. Phil Bennett, the defensive coordinator from Baylor, believes in pressure, especially if he gets you to 3rd down, and that's exactly what they did, creating a little confusion. And on that first series, Chris, Phil Bennett is attacking the true freshman, Drew Samia, the right tackle, with pressure.
Austin Seibert, true freshman, one of the best punters in the country so far, and this is a good boot. And a fair catch made at the 20-yard line. So now, Kirk, we're going to see Jarrett Stidham and this Baylor offense that scored a touchdown every first possession this season. Only team to do it.
True freshman. You can see a great dual threat quarterback, but in this offense, really more of a thrower, especially with the injury already to Seth Russell. And he's got command of this offense. Remember, he was an early enrollee, so he was in school in January, went through winter conditioning, went through spring football. It's almost like when you get in early as a quarterback, it's like a redshirt freshman, but he is still a true freshman, and he's the key tonight, making good decisions and getting the ball out of his hands.
He's played in all 8 games, but of course the road game at Kansas State, windy night, hostile environment, was his first start. So this is his first home start. And he goes right away to the top receiver, one of the best in the country, Corey Coleman. The Sooners, Jordan Thomas right there.
And that, again, that's the matchup. The receivers one-on-one against these Oklahoma defensive backs. It was an Achilles heel for the Sooners a year ago. Corey Coleman, number 1, is the go-to man. He's the guy that can make so many things happen.
And now Shock Linwood has a crease. Linwood into the secondary. Stiff arm, breaks a tackle, still running to midfield. Shock Linwood shoved out at the 45 by Charles Tapper, but a huge play in this productive run game.
Watch the left tackle, Spencer Durango. He follows him, and then he's able to accelerate into the second level. This is what makes Linwood so good. A stiff arm to that safety, Thomas, and he goes for another 15 yards.
Linwood knocked down after a 4-yard gain. Shock Linwood is a junior from Linden, averaging 131 a game. That's on pace to be the Baylor record.
Yeah, it's incredible, 130, and as a team, think about this, 309 yards a game on the ground.
Now in the flat, Linwood makes the catch, knocked down a couple yards short of the marker. Third down.
You get caught up with Art Briles and his formations and the way they throw and how fast they score, and you think it's all about their passing game. They pride themselves on physicality and being able to run the ball. Over 300 yards a game on the ground, so it's not just trying to stop Corey Coleman and the receivers. You got to be able to be physical at the point of attack.
On third down, Linwood, a physical run is wrestled down, but he gets a first down easily. DJ Ward in the tackle. Yes, the level of competition is suspect, but 6.6 per rush for this team.
Yeah, and it'll be more of a challenge tonight, but it's just, look at the formations. Look at the receivers. Look at the defensive backs aligned with the receivers. So you basically form a little box there with the defenders inside trying to stop that run.
They haven't stopped Linwood yet. That's a terrific first down gain of 8. Evans on the tackle.
It's a numbers game for the quarterback, Stidham, and you know he's looking over to the sideline. He's always getting a feel for what he needs to do, but he's evaluating the defense and looking to see where they're committed to stop the Baylor offense. Are they committing to the run? He'll throw. Are they committing to the pass? They'll run.
Devin Chafin, number 28, gives a breather to Linwood. He's a physical back. He steps forward. It's first and goal, Baylor at the 5. Alexander on the stop, but once again, right out of the starting gates, this Bears offense is rolling.
And we talk a lot about Linwood, but you're talking about an offensive line that's played a lot of football, a lot of experience up front.
Chafin walks into the end zone, and the Bears off the mark very quickly, and away go again. 8 plays, 80 yards, 239. Most of it on the ground. All but 1 yard of it, in fact.
That was a heck of an opening drive for Shaka Linwood and the offensive line of Baylor, really asserting themselves and not just scoring a touchdown, but sending a message. When you run for 65 of 66 yards on a drive to open up a game, after all the buildup and hype in this game, you're sending a message.
Snap is mishandled, and the holder, Cole Edmondson, stumbles forward. So a misfire on the extra point. That's the first one they've missed in 62 tries this year. So Baylor gets a stop and then just overpowers Oklahoma's defense to jump in front 6-0. This blacked out night, Bears in the all-black uniforms off to their typical fast start. 9 for 9 touchdowns on their opening possessions. Only team in FBS to do it. Alex Ross and Joe Mixon deep to receive Evans' kick. It's a line drive, and it goes out of bounds. So a penalty there, and the Sooners will get good starting field position. Now, even though it's so early, when you face an offense like this, you better believe the opposing offense feels stress, not just the defense.
Yep.
Two-back look, Perine and Mixon. This is Mixon slipping as he makes the cut, and he's brought down quickly. Jamal Palmer came around from the end.
Remember, this is an Oklahoma offense that made some adjustments after their Texas game. In their last 4 games, they have been much, much better, averaging 295 yards a game on the ground.
Mayfield off play action, rolls out, has room, fires near side. Sterling Shepard makes the catch. It's across the 40. As the Sooners' top receiver shows his hands, but it's still 3rd and 3.
And part of playing in this environment, like any tough environment, is you just have to weather the storm, especially against the offense that you're facing. So getting a few first downs and getting some points, very, very important if Oklahoma wants to stay in this game early.
Sooners have been a good 3rd down team, 45% on the season. Crowd making it tough. Mayfield throws far side, catch made. Jerron Neal at midfield has a Sooner first down.
It's a heck of a throw, a long throw, but it shows you the confidence that they have in Baker Mayfield to be able to make that throw to Neal, who last week had 10 receptions. Now they're going to crank the tempo up themselves after that first down.
First down after the penalty. Mayfield cannot escape. Grabbed by Trevon Blanchard. Things are getting feisty early. A helmet ripped off of Nila Casatati, the offensive lineman, who's got to come out.
He sure does. What a great play here by Blanchard. Watch, he's going to make this read right here. He felt he was taking Perine, so he decided to pull it and keep the ball. And then Perine obviously carries out the fake. Mayfield holds on to the ball, and Blanchard makes a play. He disguised that very well.
Mayfield on 2nd and 8, flips it to Perine in the flat, gets a couple of blocks, muscles in the 25-yard line. He told me that he felt he'd been too emotional early in the season. Games against Tennessee, the loss to Texas. He was trying to sort of harness that a little bit, Kurt.
Yeah, that's Lincoln Riley's mentioned that as well, how they've been proud of how he's grown and matured in that area.
Third and short, Perine banging off tacklers. First down at the 15, and now the Sooners are in business in the red zone.
Boy, Perine, one of the more physical backs in college football a year ago. New offensive system with Lincoln Riley. I think the last 3 or 4 weeks we've started to see him and the passing game.
Low far side, nowhere to run for Micaiah Quick. Short gain.
The Sooners' offensive line starting to settle in a little bit. Started to control that line of scrimmage on this drive and helping Baker Mayfield and especially Perine when he's had chances to run the football.
Offensive line that lost both tackles to the NFL and has 2 freshmen starting at tackle.
True freshman on the right side.
2-back look on second down and 8. This is Mixon. Stutter steps. Dives down to the 6. Looks like Mixon's having trouble with his traction in the early going.
It does a little bit, but I like to see Mixon and Perine in the backfield together because I think it keeps the defense off balance and guessing a little bit. They're both versatile enough that they can block, they can run, they can catch. Keeps his Baylor defense on edge.
Perine on 3rd and 1 slips again, regains his balance and scores. Looked like he might go down behind the line, but this powerful back who has great balance gives Oklahoma a chance to take the lead.
Well, he got his left hand down is why he had balance on that play. I think it's a little slick from the rain that we're having here. You're right here. He loses it, gets the left hand down, and then he runs over his own center there, Darlington, to get into the end zone. But a big answer by the Sooners after the quick touchdown by Baylor with their first series.
Sure was, and Austin Seibert gives Oklahoma a 7-6 lead. 11 plays, 65 yards, and 348. And Samaje Perine, his 11th rushing touchdown.
We're in the Big 12. Get ready. Touchdowns are coming. Plenty more coming.
A lot more, yeah. Oklahoma has the lead after that drive in which they were aided by 20 yards in Baylor penalties. Chris Platt to boot it away. Nick Hodgson to boot it away and knocks it into the end zone.
Oklahoma's defense, after a few mental mistakes by Baylor, really pinning their ears right now and attacking the line of scrimmage. Only allowed 1 play of 15 yards or longer tonight.
Stidham takes a downfield shot and has Coleman who makes the catch at midfield. That's Jay Lee, excuse me. One of the receivers who's emerged in the last few games. Nice ball from Stidham.
Yeah, this is an inside receiver matched up against a safety, and you can see, even though he's got size at 6'3", 220, he can run by you. It's not just the outside receivers you got to worry about man-to-man. They attack the inside receivers against nickelbacks and safeties.
34-yard gain. Now Stidham will loop it for Coleman, near side, overthrown out of bounds.
Tell you what,
Thomas is going to battle Coleman all night, isn't he?
Thomas is a sophomore, and he's being left on an island against one of the most explosive receivers in college football. And right now, he is not backing down and holding up just fine.
He said the rain was going to move out. If it came, it was going to arrive in the first half and then leave. I think both quarterbacks would like to see that forecast come true. It's tough. It's hard to tell on television, but the rain is coming down hard.
See the gamesmanship going on right now. Baylor substitutes, Oklahoma substitutes.
Play clock was at 2. That's very rare. They let it run down that far, and Chafin has no room to run.
It's a little bit of strategy by Bob Stoops. Kendall Briles and the Baylor offense substitute, and theoretically the officials stand over the ball until the Oklahoma defense has made their substitutions, and they get in position, and Bob Stoops wasn't necessarily in a hurry to be able to make those substitutions.
Now the center judge backs out. 3rd and 9. Davion Hall came in motion. Stidham steps up. Wants to be very careful about running. Has to slide down before Jordan Evans could hit him. They don't want this quarterback to take any shots.
No, but they once they get to about midfield on 4th down, you're usually going to see them willing to go for this, and unless they're going to quick kick, they're lined up to go for it here on 4th down at midfield. This is Baylor football.
Stidham can pooch punt, did it against Kansas State. They've gone for it now 22 times. Final minute of the first quarter. Yeah, it's a pooch, and this is a lot better than the one he tried the last game. And it's going to roll dead down inside the 8-yard line. So Oklahoma's defense, another stop, but they'll be pinned back after the 41-yard punt. So Mayfield, you got to be careful here with a wet football. They hand it off to Perine. Breaks a tackle, cuts it back. Samaje Perine out near the first down marker, and they will move the chains across the 18.
Well, that is a heck of a run by Samaje Perine. He could have been tackled for about a 3-yard loss by Taylor Young. He ran right through that arm tackle and picks up a first down.
Now it's Mixon who makes the cut as the Sooners play fast and wedge in one final play before the end of the first quarter. A lot lower scoring than we thought, Mr. Herbstreit. End of one in Waco. Back after this message and a word from your local ABC station. Sooners with a 1-point lead. Baylor scored first, but mishandled the snap on the conversion. Mayfield had the ball knocked out of his hands, gets a nice bounce and recovers it. Very fortunate. It came right up off this field turf into the hands of Mayfield. It'll be a loss in 3rd down.
Brian Nance is undersized but incredibly athletic. He gets right by the freshman and knocks that ball loose. Mayfield fortunate to jump on top of that, but when Oklahoma's throwing the football and it's an obvious passing situation, the right tackle, Drew Samia, the true freshman, is being challenged by the experience and speed of Baylor's edge pressure.
Mayfield on 3rd down. Again, looking for Westbrook, and there comes a flag. Some of that hand fighting. That was Howard defending. The crowd didn't like it.
Pass interference, defense, number 4. 15-yard penalty.
Remember,
automatic first down.
We've already seen Westbrook get behind Howard a couple times, and I think that has as much to do with this as anything. He's by trying to get around him. You see the left arm working him and trying to prevent him. Use the arm bar to try to not allow him to get by him again. That would have been a 3rd time potentially he gets by him.
Obvious intent to impede is the way that rule is worded. There is a lot of it that goes on in this conference because the DBs are under such stress and put out in space. PIs are almost part of the game plan, drawing them, aren't they? Perine hammers ahead, just wrestled down after a 3-yard gain by Grant Campbell.
Well, Lincoln Riley has brought a new energy here as a play caller and offensive coordinator, and one of the things that he's doing is he's trusting Baker Mayfield, and he sees D.D. Westbrook as a target he wants to go to.
Mayfield finds Shepard on the far side, dives for a first down. Riley graduated Texas Tech in 2006. I don't know if that makes you feel as old as I do. Youthful guy, one of the up-and-coming offensive lines was East Carolina after he was in Lubbock.
Did great things with Shane Carden a year ago at East Carolina, and I got Bob Stoops' attention.
Mishandled, attempted handoff. He pulled it back, and then Mayfield on that exchange was, again, lucky the ball bounced up to him. That's twice already.
I love that he didn't give up on the play, and he's trying to pick up yards. There's still more pushing and shoving. But, this is a zone read. Defender comes down. He reads it correctly, just he's not able to hold on to the ball. But, he's not giving up on this play. Taylor Young had a chance at him. He runs through a defender there in Howard, the corner, picks up a few yards on a broken play.
Good fortune so far for Mayfield tonight. Sling it. A little slant. Shepard almost escaped, made the catch, and was trying to get away from the tackle from Vaughn's there at his first down.
The epitome of a slot receiver in college football. Look at the space to the right there. You get Sterling Shepard a matchup, and you create a little bit of space. He can make things happen after the catch.
Perine hit immediately hard behind the line of scrimmage, and knocked down for a 2-yard loss.
Time Baylor does a good job of attacking down. It was Taylor Young, and he's been very, very active in this game. He's 5'10", 225 pounds out of DeSoto, Texas. He's probably been the most aggressive of the entire front seven so far tonight. They got one-on-one matchups across the board. Baylor up tight at the line of scrimmage.
Bringing pressure. Mayfield back pedals, just heaves it downfield toward the goal line. Catch made. And now Shepard, they called a touchdown. Shepard made a terrific play. Battle into the end zone. That's the ruling on the field.
Yeah, this will be interesting. I'm glad Dave Kataya is up here because we always hear about finishing process and a catch. One-on-one matchup. We said they don't have any safeties back. They're blitzing. What a well-thrown ball. He reaches for that pylon, and that's when the ball came out.
We have cameras, Kirk, in the pylon. Here's as good a look as you'll ever see. Shepard reaching the ball. Makes contact right there. Hard to tell if he's down yet.
It looked like, Dave, he made 2 steps. You know, after the reception, he makes 2 steps with the football in his hands.
Seibert knocks it through. A terrific job by the holder there. Grant Botham. Actually, it's not good. Botham had to collect a snap that was behind him. So either team automatic on conversions on a wet night, but the Sooners up by 7. Hodgson's kick will not be brought out. Baylor has not faced a 7-point deficit yet this year. They've been the kings of game control, that metric that looks at how much dominance they have throughout the course of the game. And on first down, the Sooners are swarming Linwood again. He had the one long run early, but they've been all over him since.
Unbelievable what they've been able to do and the way they've settled in. That first drive, 9 plays, 80 yards and a touchdown. It looked like ho-hum. That's typical Baylor. But look at these last 3 drives, and now to start this drive here, another stop.
Play action. And the ball caught by Lee. A terrific hands grab, just a few inches off the turf at the 32. It'll be 3rd down. Linwood stacked up, hit, fighting hard, will not get first down yardage as Zach Sanchez, the corner, came up in support at 179 pounds.
He comes up, but watch Charles Walker, Chris. Watch the defensive line from Oklahoma. Remember when they were getting pushed around? Look in the middle. Look at 97 get extension. He's just throwing. He's throwing the Pat Colbert, the right tackle, back into the backfield, and Sanchez cleans it up.
Well, Sanchez got knocked to the ground, but he grabbed an ankle.
He got a hold of something. But that defensive line from Oklahoma, and all 3 plays, there's a little bit of different feel from the Sooners, the confidence that they have right now.
How about 4 straight empty drives for Baylor? You just never see that. Shepard making the fair catch. Oklahoma back to work midway 2nd quarter, up by 7. Again, dangerous throw into traffic. Blanchard, the linebacker, with a takeaway. The kind of thing Mayfield has avoided this season. This time they were all over his top target.
He throws this ball behind Shepard, which allows Blanchard to get underneath it. And remember, Blanchard, Phil Bennett tells us he runs a 4-4. He played corner in high school. See how Shepard has to wait for the ball? That allows Blanchard, with his closing speed, to step right in front of that football. And what soft hands by Blanchard to hold onto the ball, gets his body underneath before he hits the ground and potentially loses possession of the ball.
Great point, Kirk. Watch the awareness to roll the body, not let the ball hit the ground. What an athletic pick for Blanchard, his 2nd of the season.
It's almost like Baylor needed something to kind of spark this stadium, this crowd, and give their offense great field position. Blanchard provides it.
One takeaway for each defense, and they continue to try to hammer Shock Linwood. Evans stopped him after about a 4-yard gain.
Well, they have a lot of confidence in that offensive line. We talked earlier. They're averaging over 300 yards a game on the ground, and they'll keep going back to it and set up the play action.
Fake it to Linwood. Stidham Gets around the edge and get down, young man. That's what Art Briles is thinking. Eric Stryker was in the neighborhood. It'll be 3rd and short. Heather?
Well, Chris, Baker Mayfield just went down his entire offense and said, hey, that one's on me. My mistake. It won't happen again. I'm going to continue going deep. Kirk, you were talking about a matchup that they're exploiting. He wants to continue to pass.
Linwood breaks free. First down and much more down to the 22-yard line. Lamont Thomas on the tackle, but he took the blow.
This time, since the opening drive, we've not seen him be able to squirt through there. The double team opens it up.
Linwood again. The Bears love to play extra fast after making a first down. That time knocked down for a loss.
You know, what's happening in some of their pass plays, the reason we're not seeing big plays is Mike Stoops has elected to rush 4 and drop 7 and play zone. And Baylor only has 3 wide receivers going out for some of these passes. You've got 7 defenders, only 3 guys out going out for a route. It's a good job by Mike Stoops.
Chapin running behind the largest human in a football uniform, I think, like Quan McGowan, 6'7", 410-pound tight end / lead blocker, was in that time, number 80.
Yeah, when in doubt, just follow the big fella. Look at him.
And they sneak it on 3rd and short. They just maul that defensive line as McGowan joins the scrum. It'll be first down. Big Laquan, the big truck they call him.
I shook his hand yesterday and I lost it. I lost my hand. I mean, we watched him catching the football.
Soft hands, though.
He does. And down in this red zone area, don't forget, they threw the one pass last year in the bowl game. And he does have soft hands for a big fella.
500-pound bench press, size 20 shoe. Stidham batted down at the line. He was trying to get it to Coleman on a slant, but Tapper got a hand up.
That's been a big emphasis this week in Norman, is the ball is out fast with Stidham in this system. And if you can't get in there, you've just got to be athletic enough to try to time it up. And Tapper does an excellent job there.
Thomas on Coleman to the left of the formation, Kirk. 2nd and 10. And a quiet start to this game for the Heisman candidate. Play clock winding down to 5. Option look. Keeper. Big hit delivered. Stephen Parker came up and knocked the quarterback down. You don't want to get him hit, but down here in the red zone, you got to run him, they feel.
Yeah, and the speed option was a part of their offense in his start in Manhattan, and they feel he's athletic enough to run it, but you're right. There isn't a lot of talent, a lot of experience behind Stidham, but you got to take some chances. You can't be too protective of your quarterback.
Scrambling. And he's going to be hit and knocked down at the 5-yard line. Dominique Alexander was waiting for him. Now they slam him down, and here comes a flag. Another mental mistake by an over-aggressive Sooner defense. They had him stopped. It was going to be a field goal attempt.
Maybe.
After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness. Defense number 1. Half the distance to the goal. Automatic first down.
You could lip read Stoops. He said, you got to be kidding me. That is a potential 4-point play right there. Mike Stoops, it's probably a good thing he's not in the sidelines.
Yeah,
he might run out and strangle somebody.
Yeah, it's better to have him up there tonight with some of these mistakes that they're making. And the problem is it's coming from their leaders. Alexander here, the junior, the number 1 defender in that second level. We've also seen Jordan Evans. He was miscues and mistakes costly for Oklahoma at crucial times as well.
Chapin on 1st and goal just walks in. 7 when it should have been 3 if not for the personal foul, and the Bears a chance to tie it.
Let's not forget to give Trevon Blanchard an assist there with that big interception to give the Bears great field position to get the crowd back into this game, and it's a totally different feel now, potentially a tie game if they hit this extra point.
She have not been automatic tonight. Each team has missed an extra point. Wet football, some troubles with the snaps and the holds. This is Chris Callahan, who had his first missed attempted PAT of the season, knocks this one through. So a 39-yard drive after the interception by Blanchard. As we check the marker in a scrum after the PAT. Tempers continue to flare up here. Little taunting of the Baylor crowd from Diamond as he walks off. Junior from Katy, Texas. This team came in here stoked up. You knew they were hungry for redemption. They have lost their cool at key moments here, though, already in the first half.
It's right in the middle, right there over the snapper, Landis. He's right on top of the, right there. He just brings his foot down on the long snapper. Officials all over it.
He was laying on his back and then brought his foot down on the face mask.
Yep.
And the immediate flag there. So a tie game. And as you said, Oklahoma down a starting defensive lineman for the rest of this game. And after the penalty, the Bears will kick it off from midfield. Try the pooch kick, and the fair catch is made by Oklahoma at the 29-yard line. So 2:58 to go until halftime. A motion Mixon into the slot. Hand it to Perine, who has both hands on the football as he powers ahead for a 5-yard gain.
Who would have thought, with all the buildup and the hype and all the talk about the Big 12 in the month of November and early December and all the points you're going to see, he had a 13-13 score here potentially at the half.
Mayfield pulls it and fires across the middle. Catch made by Shepard at the 50. Already Shepard with the touchdown catch and now has 8 receptions tonight.
Now watch, he's reading this linebacker, and because he came up, he pulls the ball out and then he finds his crossing route.
The backs cross. Mayfield rolls and fires far side again. A low throw and a catch made by Shepard, who's having a monster first half.
You know, by going tempo like this, it not only helps you get in field position, but it allows you to have such an edge to you as an offense, and it gets the defense on its heels.
Second and short. Mayfield sneaks it for a first down to the 40. Sooners had to spend the 2 timeouts. They have just 1, but 2:01 to work with. Should be plenty of time.
Remember, Shepard has been bouncing around. He's been in the slot. He's been to the field. He's been to the boundary. Right now, he will be up at the top of the screen.
Mayfield lobs it down and Mixon out of the backfield on a wheel route, got open down inside the 25.
And because you have Shepard on the same side, he's able to catch a lot of the defense's attention. He's just going to go right down here on the wheel route, but you see the safety has to respect Sterling Shepard. It opens up that sideline for the wheel route to Mixon.
18-yard gain, and now Perine runs the right side. Boy, Lincoln Riley, that young play caller, in a nice rhythm now, isn't he?
He really does. And the combination of Mixon and Perine in the backfield together, you have Sterling Shepard out there making plays. We've not seen Mark Andrews, the freshman, yet have an opportunity, but he has great size, especially down here at 6'5". He's now up in the top. He just came in for Shepard.
Point Kirk. Andrews, 6 touchdowns in his 16 catches. He's got single coverage to the right of the quarterback. Mayfield pulls it, throws back over the middle, and the catch is made by Dimitri Flowers, and the H-back muscling down to the 1.
Boy, the flow all the way to the right gets the defense's attention. They've been going down that right sideline, and he just puts the ball up in the air and hopes that Flowers will come down with it. Watch the defense flow to the right, and it opens up the middle of the field, and he relies on the athletic ability of Flowers to go up and make a play. That's trust right there by Baker Mayfield, throwing it to his H-back, Flowers, who goes up and takes that big hit and almost works his way into the end zone.
2-back look.
And working that play clock.
They could work it down and leave Baylor.
They should. They should. With the way Baylor can score and the way they move the ball, should work that down as far as they can.
Mayfield finally says, all right, let's go. Perine. No, keeps it, pulled it. Fooled me, fooled the defense. Touchdown, Oklahoma. What a first half for Mayfield.
The zone read, Chris. He fooled you. You're right. He fooled Baylor. Blanchard came down hard on Perine, who's had a great first half himself. catches the linebacker's attention, and Baker Mayfield does a great job of staying on the ride and pulling that ball out. A perfect read, and he walks into the end zone.
Seibert, no trouble with that conversion. End of the first half here in Waco. The Capital One halftime report is coming up. John and the gang in the studio, and Heather Cox will speak with Bob Stoops right after these messages.
Coach, you take a 7-point lead into the locker room. How have you been able to establish control so far?
Well, controlling the run game after the first series. And then other than a few penalties, defense has really held up. And then the offense has kept the ball and moved it as well.
You talk about those penalties. You also had a player ejected, a lot of emotions. What's your reaction been to this chippiness?
Yeah, you know, we just got to play smarter. We had a chance to force a field goal. We give them a fresh set of downs, and they get a touchdown. That's big.
Bob, thanks for your time.
Here in Waco, Texas, the rain is letting up as we get set for the final 30 minutes. A surprising first half. Surprisingly defensive. Oklahoma with a 20-13 lead. Chris Fowler back with Kirk Herbstreit. But Kirk, the Sooners have been here before. They played great defense for 30 minutes. Now, what's the key to sustaining it? Because in the second half, the Bears have stepped on the gas the last couple of years against them.
No doubt about it. I think their defensive line really started to assert themselves after the opening drive, where Baylor went right down the field and put points up on the board. And because of how well they played up front, it's allowed them to defend the run with their front and then still keep a lot of guys in coverage. And it's made it really hard on Jarrett Stidham, the freshman quarterback. We'll see if they can maintain the same effort from Oklahoma in the second half. And if you're Baylor, it's about trying to get your running game going, taking some of the pressure off of Stidham, which they tried to do.
Let's check with Heather Cox before the kickoff.
All right, guys, I talked to Art Browse, who was frustrated with the rhythm, said we just got out of rhythm, out of sync early. We never got back into it, and that turnover really hurt momentum. One last night, guys, keep your eyes on quarterback Jarrett Stidham. Art Browse admitted to me that he got banged up in the first half. He's dealing with a very sore back, but will continue in the second half.
Stidham takes a shot. That sore back won't feel any better after that big blow from Matt Romar.
And remember, we have Matt Diamond out of the game for kicking a Baylor player. So Romar, along with Charles Walker, have got to get it done in the middle. And much like the way most of the first half went, again, that Sooner D-line.
Linwood knocked down after a short gain. It'll be third and long. This is a Baylor offensive line that's given up only 9 sacks on the season. Crowd just not used to seeing this offense shut down. There's a murmur in this place. They need 14.
You're going to see 7 in coverage here.
Stidham takes a shot for Coleman. Fingertip catch, flag comes in. He's knocked out of bounds near the Oklahoma 40. Let's check the marker.
That's got to be pass interference, I think, on the Sooners, and Will Johnson trying to prevent Coleman from getting around him.
That hand fighting that goes on down the field. Defensive back and receiver.
Prior to the pass, holding, defense, the penalty is declined. Result of the play, first down.
And you could see that Jordan Thomas, who Oklahoma wants to have on Coleman, with the formation, they somehow got Coleman matched up with the nickelback Will Johnson, and that's a matchup they'll take every time.
Quiet first half for Coleman, only 2 catches for 14 yards. He got 37 on that third down play. Now Linwood is just mobbed and slammed down by Charles Tapper. Another loss on first down.
Well, again, I can't say enough about the way this defensive line is playing. You're talking about not only going up against a team that can score, but you have a veteran Baylor offensive line, a physical back in Shock Linwood, a team that's averaging 300 yards a game on the ground, and Oklahoma, with the rotation and athletic ability, winning that battle.
Linwood has a crease. Just tackled at the ankle there by Alexander. Prevented a bigger gain. It'll be 3rd and 4. Very few negative plays for this offense. Only 40 all year. The Sooners did a very good job at grabbing it behind the line. On 3rd down, Linwood muscles forward. Don't even need to go forward on 4th down because they will move the chains to the 31.
I thought Art Browse made an interesting point with Heather, talking about they got out of rhythm. They had some penalties and miscues and the turnover, and kind of got away from what they were doing early.
Stidham Thought about running and now just dumps it off on the sidelines. That's Cannon making the catch. Quarterback knocked down again. Completion to the 25.
They brought a late blitz from Stephen Parker, the nickelback, to right there, number 10. He leaves Cannon. Stidham eventually sees that. He probably should have gotten that out there a little bit earlier to Cannon, but he did take a hit by Parker.
Linwood tries to cut back. Gets the edge. Shock Linwood. Another cut down inside the 10. First and goal, Bears.
So I think that's what makes Shock Linwood so good. This play is designed to go to the left. It's a counter play. He's going to follow his lineman. But look at this. This play is supposed to go here. He cuts it all the way back because of the vision and the feel that he has there. Does a good job of coming off of that. See, all the way back. The play's designed to his left.
Looking for a third touchdown, and getting it is Devin Chafin. The big play, 37 yards, Kirk, in that 3rd and 14 to keep the drive going. And Chafin with the hat trick.
It's kind of how the opening drive of the game started, really, for Baylor. 9 plays, 75 yards here. They go right down the field, 232. It's almost identical to that opening drive to start the game for their first touchdown.
The ATs have not been automatic tonight. Here's Callahan, who knocks this one through. And this game tied once again at 20. Baylor quick out of the starting gate in the second half, just as they were in the first. 3 touchdowns for 2-8. Apiece as the Bears have tied the score quickly. Their first possession of the 3rd quarter. Evans' kick taken at the 4 by Alex Ross. He was a very dangerous returner last year. Had a couple touchdowns, but they haven't been that strong in this department this year. Rain is almost stopped, which is good news for both offenses. Perine bounces off a man, gets to the edge, just runs through the tackle of Stewart, and they'll move the chains. Heather?
Well, some defensive news for Baylor. As you'll recall, defensive taker Bo Blackshear injured his right knee in the first half. They evaluated it at halftime. He will not return. Also, starting safety Orion Stewart is out there, but battling back spasms.
Heather, thank you. Byron Bonds, 1 defensive tackle, already out with a knee strain. Now Kirk Blackshear unable to return. Heather reported that Oakman is dealing with a couple of lower body injuries.
And now look at this. You have Andrew Billings down. He's going to get up. He's been fighting through an ankle injury for the last few weeks.
Sure has. Still not 100%, he told us. Mayfield pulls it, pump fakes, takes a shot, and throws it far side to Neal, who's knocked out of bounds at the 45-yard line. Here's a quarterback who's in rhythm right now.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And they're starting to run the football. And when you start to run the ball, it opens up spacing underneath in this offense. And boy, he had Shepard matched up against Stewart there.
Perine hammers away at that short-handed defensive line. The linebacker, Campbell, came up to meet him.
Oh. Baylor doing everything they can to hold up physically. The strength of their defense is their defensive line, but they're beaten up. Which means the linebackers and safeties are going to have to get more involved.
Mayfield escapes, has room. Mayfield to the 30, shows the speed, gets the corner, knocked out down inside the 10. Blanchard finally ran him out, but another big play from the quarterback.
I'm telling you, we've not seen an Oklahoma Sooner quarterback that brings this kind of life to this offense in years. His creativity, look at the effort. He's not going to give up on this play. He's not looking to slide. He's picking up as many yards as he can.
34 of them on that scamper. First and goal.
Great block downfield by Westbrook to help him give him more yards.
Mayfield on a slant. Touchdown. Shepard went down low, scooped it up, and Oklahoma takes the lead again.
Chris, look how Baylor's walked up. They're blitzing, which creates a nice big void right behind the blitz. Baker Mayfield has time, finds it, waits for the right moment. You'll see Blanchard go up in the air. He throws it right behind him. right low and away where it needs to be.
Conversion good. Shepard now, 10 catches, 125 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And Stoops, offense, converts again in the red zone, back up by 7. You see if both offenses get it cranked up. Each scoring to open this third quarter, and Oklahoma again has reclaimed the lead. Wisconsin drives it into the end zone. Most of his kicks are touchbacks, and that one is as well. Stidham wanted to take a shot downfield. Now just rolls and bounces the ball in there, incomplete to Hall. This offense, it's known, Kirk, for all these deep shots.
This is an example of what you're going to see. You're going to get a guy down here, a guy down here. But look at the Oklahoma Sooners in coverage. Look how tough this is to find an opening to throw the football to.
Chafin carry, and it's going to be third down again. Alexander on the stop.
It's interesting to Mike Stoops. He's come up with a plan. He's looked at it the entire offseason, and it's all really relying upon having a dominant defensive line and playing the way they're playing physically at the line of scrimmage against the run game and pressuring the quarterback, which frees him up to drop linebackers and defensive backs in coverage against the big playability in the pass.
On 3rd and 7, it's a slant off the fingertips of Coleman, who was closely covered. 4th down coming up, and more jawing between Coleman and the DBs. Thomas.
It's a tight window, and you know, Coleman, as good as he is, he knows when he goes in there, there's a chance you're gonna feel a linebacker. In this case, it was Alexander. Gets around Thomas. The ball is thrown where he could make a catch on it, but he short-armed it just a bit, fearing Dominique Alexander close it in.
Bears had only 8 3-and-outs all season coming in. That was their 3rd tonight. Gaillett's much busier than usual. Not a very good punt. Bounced backwards. And let's see where they spot it. It will be at the 43 as Oklahoma takes over up 7. It was a 27-yard punt. It was a funky into it. Watch Dakota Austin, number 27, down in coverage, and boink, right off the helmet.
Lucky that ball happened to bounce out of bounds for Oklahoma. You imagine if that bounced back into the field of play?
They've been a live ball instead. Oklahoma at the 45, trying to build on the 7-point lead. Mixing the running back at the bottom of the formation. It's Perine who's got it, makes the cut. Samaje Perine in the clear. Stiff arm, still running. Touchdown, Oklahoma. 55 yards. And the Sooners go up 2 scores. Physical, tough, and fast.
I just cannot believe the job that Lincoln Riley has done with this offense, from the way they looked against Texas to where they've looked these last 5 weeks, including tonight. This team had 67 yards rushing against Texas.
His longest run allowed by Baylor this year.
And give Lincoln Riley credit here, Chris, because look at the formation. He's got Shepard over here. By doing that, he gets a linebacker and a safety over here. There's nobody in run support on this side. And the reason that's important is once he gets through, you got a blitz right there. You get a nice block from the right tackle, Samaje, and it just frees it up. And I'll tell you, the big fella has speed when he gets out into the open field. But look, there's nobody there. Blanchard blitzes. He gets picked up right there. And there's nobody left because the formation moved the safeties into the boundary.
And here's a look at pylon camera. Samaje steamrolling into the end zone. That short-handed Baylor defensive line down Blackshear, already missing Bonds, Oakman, and Billings, both of them banged up. Wow. Beginning to wear, and you're right, Lincoln Riley calling a terrific game.
It really is. And Casatati, the right guard, Samia, the right tackle, both with 2 blocks to spring Perine loose, but it was the formation and moving the safeties and linebackers out of position that really opened that up.
Johnson again drives the kick deep, and Chris Blatt's going to bring it out. Knocked down across the 15. Can they find some rhythm with this true freshman quarterback? Play action on first down. Nowhere to throw the ball. Stidham backpedals and now just chucks it into the Oklahoma bench. Again, great coverage.
Yeah, 7 guys in pass coverage. Mike Stoops, I know he's upstairs looking down, watching this. This plan that was put together is working up to this point, and it has everything to do with keeping people in coverage and dominating the line of scrimmage with a great defensive line.
Coleman is to the left of the formation.
Chris, usually you have to commit numbers against Shock Linwood in the running game, and it leaves you vulnerable in one-on-one opportunities in the pass game.
Play action, they flip it across the middle, catch made, blow delivered, and still running is Gus Penning, the tight end with a huge play down to the 30. As Bryles dials up a little deception.
And he came right out of the backfield, right here. He looks like he's going to lead block, and then actually just sneaks behind the linebacker, Alexander. The ball had to be thrown in a hurry because of the safety that Ahmad Thomas coming in so quickly, and that's exactly what he does. He reads it, feels it, gets the ball thrown in a hurry.
It was only
Physical
Penning's
tackle there.
Yeah, only Penning's 5th catch of the season. You can see the volatile Mr. Stoops, who's much calmer in the booth than he is in the sidelines, looking down as Penning is attended to and now helped to his feet. 250-pounder. Comes from Michigan. Not many guys in this Baylor roster from outside of the state of Texas.
But he is a big target. 6'6", 250.
Sure, pretty good wheels after the catch, didn't he?
Yeah, well,
had a lot of space, but
ran over Ahmad Thomas and then did show some speed. Gotta love how Baylor just kind of keeps pecking. They keep looking, they keep trying to find it. It's not working in the run game. Coleman's not necessarily working. And they decide to go to Gus Penning, who has 4 receptions on the year. Sneak him out of the backfield. They just keep trying to find a weakness in your defense.
Big Laquan McGowan, number 80, is lined up in the backfield. 39-yard gain sets him up on first down. Stidham with a pump fake. The end zone. Jay Lee is wide open and dropped it. Right off the hands of the senior receiver. Should have been 7.
A stutter and go on an island against Zach Sanchez, and he had him. He gave him a little stop and go. And it was right through his hands off the face mask, but Zach Sanchez, who's a little bit of a guesser, jumped the route early, and it was very easy for Lee to get around him. He just dropped the ball.
Linwood runs forward, and again, when you're trying to make up a 14-point deficit, drops like that, amplified importance that Baylor can't find the end zone on this drive. That'll be one they'll remember. As the quarterback saying, ooh.
This is 3rd down, but obviously 4-down territory.
Linwood chased down by Stryker for a loss. Eric Stryker makes his first big play of the night. Not just a sack master.
You have Stryker involved. You also have the middle linebacker, Jordan Evans. Here's Stryker. He's going to attack. He sees the formation. There's not a tight end there. It allows him to collapse in a hurry. Shock Linwood never had a chance with that closing speed of Eric Stryker.
Makes this 4th down play a little more complicated. They now need 8 yards after the loss. Stidham on a slant. Cannon makes the catch inside the 5. 1st and goal. Clutch for Katie Cannon. And the quarterback.
The middle of the field is wide open. Watch the ball, and there's the arm strength that we've talked all week about from Jarrett Stidham.
Chafin already with 3 touchdowns. They fake it to him. Throw to the big fella. 410-pound touchdown. Art Bryles had a twinkle in his eye. Said, come on, you get involved the big fella, so you might see something.
That's what I thought. If there's ever a time to see it. 1st and goal. The big 400-pound tight end, you got to get him the ball. The only other time he's had a chance was in last year's bowl game against Michigan State. We saw him in practice. We were mesmerized by how soft his hands were, catching balls one-handed.
He's a terrific story, too. He wanted to be an NBA star growing up, kind of outgrew that. went to high school at a boys ranch, which he actually asked for. Gave him discipline, direction in his life, and you can see the talent. Soft hands, good feet for a big fella, a huge fella.
And it's actually a really good call because they're not anticipating him sneaking in behind. They're thinking that Chafin's going to run the ball. So he just does a nice job there and just shows a little bit to Devontae Bond right here. Just gets his hands up and then just comes off of him. Stidham gives him a little time, has the patience there to be able to get him. Takes a little bit of time for 400 pounds to get around.
you know when you score a touchdown, you try to lift up the guy that scores. Are you kidding me? They tried to.
Who's trying to lift him up?
They tried to lift a whole.
Oh, Durango got him up.
Heather, what do you got?
Hey guys, Laquan McGowan is large, as you guys talked about. He wears a size 21 shoe, but during games, he squeezes into a petite size 18. He says even though his toes are pinched, it helps him run faster, and that his correct shoe size feels too heavy on the field. And when you're younger, imagine trying to find a size 21 shoe. He was competing in sports, asked the Dallas Mavericks for help, asked the Cowboys for help. They didn't have shoes big enough, so Shaquille O'Neal sent him shoes when he was playing for the Phoenix Suns, so he'd have some shoes big enough.
Kick will bounce out of bounds. All he does is score touchdowns, Kirk. 30 career receptions, 3 touchdowns for Big Laquan. And Mayfield wants to take a shot on first down, loops it downfield. Shepard makes the catch down to the 12-yard line.
Well, that is
and he's now slow to get up.
That's a big arm. You're throwing that in the college game from the left hash all the way to the sideline, and he throws it again on a rope with a safety that time. Burt has no chance to come over and make a play on the football.
Two-back look on first down, low snap. And that play didn't work from the start. Mixon is dropped for a loss, but the timing thrown off by the snap. Again, this Baylor defense trying to come up with a stop. Final minute of the third quarter.
You're right, that had a weird feel from the beginning here. They really didn't have much of a chance. Baylor all over it with the timing, you're right, because of the snap off.
Young made the tackle for a loss of 3 yards. Second down, clock at 15 seconds in the third quarter. Rain picking up even more now. Mixon tries to make the edge. Cannot hit hard. Another loss. Consecutive losses as Jamal Palmer came up to hit the running back, and tempers flare again. Mixon lost his helmet.
Well, this defense is flying around right now. How about Sells, Chris? How physical he is stepping in for Stewart.
Well, Oklahoma threatening, up 7 as the rain falls in Waco. A hot-blooded, hard-hitting, surprisingly defensive game. Back for the final quarter after this message and a word from your local ABC station. Certainly hope the national championship trophy presented by Dr. Pepper is water resistant. Be awarded to the winner, of course, January 11th in Glendale, Arizona. Baylor still bothered they weren't given a chance to compete for that trophy last year. Trying to make their playoff case with a win tonight. But Oklahoma trying to build the lead as we begin the final quarter. 3rd and 14. They got to get down to about the 2-yard line. Empty backfield. Bears back out, rush only 3. Mayfield looking for somebody. Still looking, fires, end zone, broken up. Tried to get it to Mark Andrews, who's had a couple of opportunities. He's holding his left arm. Wells was in coverage. It's 4th down.
Well, Mayfield did everything he could to keep this play alive and eventually finds Andrews, who has a chance here. It's the second time tonight we've seen the young freshman have a chance to make a critical play. That's a beautiful view of it right there. But unable again to squeeze the ball for a first down, maybe a touchdown there.
He's been a reliable target with 6 touchdown catches. So instead, Seibert from 33 to make it a 10-point game. And he knocks it through. So Baylor, 13 seconds into the final quarter, once again down by double digits. Our Pacific Life game summary as we begin the fourth quarter here. Each team with a couple of touchdowns in the third quarter. Shepard having a monster evening for Oklahoma. 12 receptions, approaching the single game Oklahoma record, which is 15. He's got a piece of that record.
He's trying to make up for the last 2 games against Baylor in one night. Trying to put 3 into 1. You know?
Thompson to boot it away. Sooners will work into the wind here in the final quarter. And this kick will not reach the end zone. And Ishmael Zamora has a chance. And gets a couple blocks. Zamora runs by the kicker to midfield and knocked down inside Oklahoma territory by Stephen Parker. But a big play from the special team sets up Baylor.
Boy, what a great job. And, you know, the coaches told us about Zamora and his big playability as a wide receiver. And he is a big, rangy guy as a freshman. It's 6'4", 220. And I tell you, the kicker just slowing him down just enough allowed Stephen Parker to eventually catch up to him.
A first down throw far side. It's low, and Jay Lee couldn't come up with it.
You know, we showed him grimacing. We showed him with a coat on with all the rain. We showed Kendall Briles talking to him, Seth Russell talking to him. The one thing we didn't see was him throwing. I was surprised. That's the first ball that he has thrown since he came off after he got body slammed by Charles Tapper, and that was not like him, the throw that he just made right there as far as his accuracy and velocity.
Here's a second throw. The downfield shot. Coming back for the ball is Cannon, and he's wrestled out with a first down. 2 Sooner defenders, Kirk, but they didn't really spy the ball.
Well, Parker never finds the football, and Cannon does a good job of coming back to the ball. It's a bit underthrown. You can see Parker's just lost in one-on-one coverage, and that's the matchup. Who's going to win those matchups on the outside? Give KD Cannon there.
They got 27, and now Stidham tries to escape again. Loops the ball for the end zone. 2 receivers come to the area, and it's caught by Lee for a touchdown. Cannon, meanwhile, the second receiver who almost collided with Lee, is down in the corner of the end zone. Not how they drew it up, but they'll take it.
Right. Anytime you see 2 receivers in the same area almost crash into each other, there's a mistake. But you're right. See Lee coming out, and right there, the ball's thrown to Lee. How Cannon got involved, I think he started to improvise a bit. That ball is thrown right over the shoulder. Sooners defense confused there.
Jordan Evans for Oklahoma was also hurt on the play. Into the hole of Cole Edmondson. No problem that time. Tough guy quarterback showing his grit as the Bears fight back at home. 3-point game in Waco. A soaked but suddenly much happier crowd here in Waco, jumping around in the timeout, trying to give the Bears some energy. A 3-point game. The guys in the sidelines doing the same. I remember seeing that sign over the years when the Bears were underdogs and pulled off surprises, coming in as favorites tonight over Oklahoma. And their hands full. Evans with him, Breeze at his back, boots it to Ross, who will bring it out. Alex Ross straight up the middle, dragged down at the 23. First down. Mayfield had time, escapes, has a lot of room. Mayfield shaking, diving to midfield. He is ripping his arm. Both quarterbacks just battling through some pain, but they move the chains again.
Again, man-to-man coverage with an athletic quarterback. You've got to be very careful. If you're not going to spy him with a linebacker, he's going to have a lot of room to run. In fact, we've seen Baker Mayfield tonight recognize that man under coverage and take off and run and pick up big yards.
He's got those rubber pellets that are in the field. They're all over his face, his face mask. He doesn't care. Perine muscles forward for just a few. You know, you talk about this conference, Kirk, and it's all about finesse, and they don't really hit or tackle or play defense. We are seeing the opposite of that tonight.
Oh, without a doubt. If people have not seen a lot of Big 12 football, they have to be appreciating the contact, physicality, the way these teams are playing on both sides of the football. Yeah, you're seeing some points, but you're seeing two defenses fly around and make some plays too.
And you're seeing two defenses that are really going to be under stress, aren't they, in the final 9 minutes, because both offenses have begun to crank it up and run lots of snaps. Play action on second down. Mayfield has time. Can he find a receiver? Flips it complete. First down at the 40-yard line. And it's D.D. Westbrook. He took a shot at the end of the play.
And what he did there is he was trying to get the ball to his main man tonight. Throwing the ball to Sterling Shepard, but he's taken away. Watch him come off of him in the middle. Shows the patience, and then eventually D.D. Westbrook breaks free. It's a good job of improvising there by Westbrook, and a nice job by Mayfield of seeing him.
Yeah, good toughness. The receiver had to know he was going to take a big shot after that catch. Perine hammers ahead. Brought down by the ankle, but he's got a first down inside the 30. It was Singleton saving a touchdown.
Yeah, he follows Orlando Brown, the freshman left tackle, and Jonathan Alvarez. Watch the two big fellas lead the way on a counter play. Opens it up, and again, he's got acceleration for his size at 230.
157 yards for Perine. There's another first down run. Hard-earned yard.
These Baylor linebackers and safeties starting to really get involved in the run game. Doing everything they can to try to slow down Samaje Perine. It's a battle of wills with 7 minutes to go here.
Sure
in a three-point game.
Sooners using some play clock here. Second down throw. Near side. Catch made. Shepard out of bounds. First and goal, Oklahoma.
It's a one-on-one matchup. Sterling Shepard matched up against a safety, Singleton, who is in this football game right now. Look at the cushion that Singleton gives Shepard because of the appreciation and respect of how he can get by him vertically. But a mismatch when you have your best receiver and the quickest receiver up against a backup safety. And that time Baker Mayfield was able to locate him and make a nice throw.
Targeted 15 times. He's made 13 catches. He goes out now. Andrews, the freshman, has had a tough night. Back in the game to the right of the formation. Bears rush only 3. Mayfield looking, scrambling, retreating, fires to the end zone for a touchdown to Flowers. Extending the play, showing patience, and look at Trevor Knight, last year's starter, off to celebrate with Mayfield there.
That play is kind of symbolic of the night in the season that Baker Mayfield has had for this Oklahoma Sooners offense. You thought he might give up on the play. You thought he might throw it away. But his H-back, who is in blocking, Flowers, talk about Mayfield's going to get the credit, but Dimitri Flowers was blocking. He wasn't even going out for a pass, and he turned around and figured out, keep your eye on this guy right here. And this play takes a long time, but he is in blocking, waiting. You think he might run, and then he decides right here to take off and try to get out into the open field. I can't believe none of the linemen went downfield. In fact, the freshman, Samaje, the right tackle, actually did. The right tackle, 75 from Oklahoma. He's almost near the goal line.
You can't blame him. Mayfield was failing for 15 seconds back there. But Flowers has made 2 catches tonight, both of them huge. One setting up a touchdown, and now that touchdown gives Oklahoma a 10-point lead inside of 5 minutes to go, and may have been their crucial play to help the Sooners get some payback against Baylor. I'm just wondering, they couldn't find a scholarship for him in Lubbock?
No doubt.
I'm just saying. This Platt gets the edge and gets knocked down at the 30-yard line. So Baylor's got to show serious urgency. Stidham downfield, intercepted. Tried to take a shot. Ahmad Thomas came across and make the catch, and that might do it for Oklahoma. This secondary given so much abuse and grief, so embarrassed. But the last two meetings, how sweet is this celebration?
Well, it's an amazing way to potentially wrap this up. Mike Stoops deserves a ton of credit. He's taken so much heat in Norman for the way his defenses has performed in some of these bigger games, giving up a lot of points, giving up a lot of plays. They put a plan together, and his players went out and executed it tonight. Ahmad Thomas in the middle of your field, he actually does a good job of reading the eyes of the young freshman quarterback who stared down Jay Lee. One of the few times we've seen him make a mistake, show his youth. He stared Jay Lee down, and Ahmad Thomas, the junior from Miami, read it and jumped it and comes up with maybe the play of the game.
Third turnover for the Bears, who are -2 in that department. And they were +11 coming in here on short gain. Again, look at the last couple years. Rush yards, 377. Pass yards last year. They got ripped up on the ground a couple of years ago. Mayfield steps up, delivers. Shepard, one more catch. Shepard spins and knocks down at the 40-yard line. And Shepard within a catch now of equaling that school record for receptions in a game. He's got 14. Oklahoma not stepping off the gas uptown, are they?
No, and Sterling Shepard is senior, a guy that probably could have come out last year. His father played for OU. The story is well documented, and how he was around the locker room after his father passed away. Bob Stoops reached out to him when he was just a little guy, and he grew up around the locker room, grew up loving the Sooners, and he's done everything he can these last 2 or 3 years. He's been disappointed at times, and trying to put it all together tonight, has had a career night.
Perine on first down. Shepard again knocked out in the first quarter a couple of years ago in a loss. Couldn't play at all last year. Was injured, had a groin injury, had to helplessly stand and watch his team get blown out at home. And you just sense every Oklahoma player we talk to, the eagerness, the energy, the anticipation for this game tonight, and it's played out.
Yeah, their pride was on the line. You know what I mean? They felt that, you know, all due respect to Baylor and what Baylor's done to them, a lot of these guys have lived it. And they felt that, hey, we still have a lot of pride as a program, and we're embarrassed by what's happened. And let's go to Waco and see if we're good enough to beat a really good team.
Perine, short gain. Talked about since that Oklahoma game, this is going to be the 5th straight game the Sooners have gained 500 yards offense. Their streak of 50-plus points may be stopped, but this is an offense that's going to be very difficult for anybody to deal with.
Oh, yeah, especially with Baker Mayfield, the way he's playing. And, you know, we heard this week about Jason White, who won a Heisman Trophy, and Sam Bradford, who won a Heisman Trophy in Norman. And you start to look 9 or 10 games into a season, and you compare what Baker Mayfield has done to 2 guys that won the Heisman, and you start to look at his numbers.
Should he be in the mix, you think?
Absolutely.
This year, should he be in the conversation? Because he hasn't been. He's been basically overlooked.
He should be. He should be.
I agree. This is the kind of game that can elevate you. Here's the keeper for the quarterback. Still running around and just slides on the red carpet for a first down. And they'll continue to chew on clock. And that could just about do it. Baylor with just one timeout.
Because what doesn't show up, and if you watch this game for 4 quarters and you watch this team play this year, they feed off of him. That's the difference. The intangibles, the heart, the fire. Again, I have not seen an Oklahoma quarterback in a long time that had such an impact on his team. So it's not just putting his stats next to these others. It's what he does to this team and how they feed off of his energy.
Very different kind of quarterback from Sam Bradford, who was a brilliant player. A little more cerebral, perhaps, not as fiery as
absolutely. But Sam impacted his guys in a way, too. Maybe not with the fire, but we've seen the recognition tonight from this young man. He's made great throws. This was a touchdown earlier in the first half. I've been blown away to see his arm strength in person. And, of course, he has what it takes to improvise, create the mobility to be able to try to keep a play alive, the ability to extend plays, and this is the last touchdown. I mean, instead of giving up on it, he believes in his team and his players and his own athletic ability, and comes up with big play after big play.
Bears are going to lose for the first time at McLean Stadium. They had been 10-0 here, average margin of 32 points in their 20-game home winning streak, which goes back to Floyd Casey. Snapped here. The Ford wrap-up show with Cassidy Hubbard is coming up right after the game, as the Sooners are in victory formation. A very, very satisfying win on that level, but also a crucial one because Oklahoma, she ranked 12th by the selection committee. They could reshape things.
As we start to stack these one-loss teams, after what we've seen from Oklahoma since their loss to Texas, and with everybody that potentially they're going to start losing ahead of them, Oklahoma throws their hat into the ring with all those other one-loss teams. And they still have TCU and Bedlam with Oklahoma State in front of them.
Boomer Sooner comes to Waco and beats the Bears. Very different handshake last year when Soup suffered his worst home loss ever at the hands of Briles. Cursory and a handshake. Briles to Mayfield. And to Heather with Bob Stoops.
Chris, thanks so much, Coach. Congratulations. After 2 years of frustration against this team, what did your team show you tonight?
Played really well. They executed well, both sides of the ball. Came up with big plays. You know, played within ourselves and played a good game.
Your offense is an entirely different offense than it was even at the beginning of the season. How did it help you tonight?
But, you know, staying on the field, making big plays. Baker Mayfield, again, was incredible. And, you know, when you play Baylor, too, you've got to score, keep them on the bench and move the ball. And we were able to do that.
5 games ago, hard to believe this very same team lost to Texas. Since then, what has changed about these Sooners?
Well, you know, the execution overall has improved every week, and come in here in their place and win here was another good win.
And let's talk about your brother and what his defense did for you guys, slowing down this very prolific Baylor offense. How did they do it? Yeah,
the entire defense was great. First, we controlled the run game after the first series. And then we covered them. We challenged them. Our secondary, they did a great job covering, breaking to the ball, and challenging their receivers.
Coach, congrats on a great win.
Thank you.
Tonight's game was produced by Bill Bonnell, directed by Derek Mobley. For our entire crew, which braved the elements here in Waco, and for Kirk Herbstreit and Heather Cox, I'm Chris Fowler saying so long from Waco, where Mayfield and the Sooners are elated with themselves tonight, and why not? The Ford wrap-up show coming up right now as we kick it off to Cassidy Hubbard. Cassidy?